Welcome to Seed 360, a Pioneer Seeds Australia podcast for everything in, on and around the seed. I'm Adam Pittman, and today I've got Henk Brolix. We're going to be talking to Cameron Searle and Erinn McCartney in regards to their journey with Pioneer and a bit of background on themselves. So, Cameron, I'll just start off with yourself. Give me a bit of a background of how you started with agriculture and a bit of your background story.
Thanks, Adam. And we can drop the formalities, mate. It's Cam. I'm not at school, mate. I haven't done the wrong thing, so let's go back to Cam. Rolling on. So it's interesting sitting in the room here and listening to you guys talk about your path to where we are now and how mine looks a bit similar too. So much like you blokes, didn't grow up on a farm, and it's funny in this industry you often get the question from the older growers, where's the family farm or where did you grow up kind of thing. And it wasn't on a farm, it wasn't that kind of lifestyle. I grew up on a small block in town, but for a long time had a bit of an interest in the background in agriculture, and I think it was probably from the attraction to being outside, being out in the open, a real love for the Australian sort of environment, and through that took the opportunity to go and spend a bit of time working on a relative's farm up in northern New South Wales a couple of times, just in school holidays, and that really piqued the interest. So from there I decided to finish school and head to Ag College at Tocal in the Hunter Valley. Did a couple of years there and really got the basics pinned down as far as what I was lacking, I guess, in certain terms. And that was a good experience to then send me off to work on a corporate farm in central New South Wales for about 4 years, and that was heavily focused on broadacre cropping, both summer and winter, and doing all the operations for broadacre cropping in that space, and that really cemented my interest in that space around the cropping industry. And it was a really good experience to sort of set me up for where I've headed from there. So after about 4 years, I got a bit of a suggestive tap on the shoulder from an agronomist who worked for the business, who to say, look, there's more to life than just driving tractors, as much as I couldn't see it at the time. And so I made the move to go and do an ag degree at Hawkesbury Ag College, which is University of Western Sydney, on the western edge of Sydney there. So did that, came out the other side of that with a lot of good memories, but also an ag degree, and then spent a season in Canada. And so did a year in central Canada, in Saskatchewan, just to see how things were done on the other side of the world, and just enjoy that opportunity to have a year away and do a bit of travelling in between. When I got back, I was lucky enough to land a role with one of our reseller partners as an agronomist. So again, similar to you, Adam, where I spent some time working as a sales agronomist and honed the skill sets, particularly around the customer service piece, but also working longer term in those relationships to really extract value out of those businesses and get the best we could and really assist in building outcomes and production for those businesses. That was initially in the Clare Valley in South Australia, and I'd only planned to be down there for a short space of time, but as happens when you meet your future wife, you sort of get stuck in a place. So 5 years later, we moved back to central New South Wales, where I'm based now, and not long after that, I made the move into Pioneer. So started with Pioneer as a territory sales manager back in 2018 for Central New South Wales. Now, those of you who remember 2018 in Central New South Wales will remember that it was pretty dry. It was the worst drought in memory. So an interesting time to start in a seed business. We spent a lot of time having cups of tea and talking about everything but seed, but it was a good way to roll into it and really get to know the marketplace and who was who before things kicked off well and truly. And so 2020 started and we got back into it. So it was a really good start to it, and then in 2021 I was lucky enough to end up in the regional role, which is now what we call our central region, which covers all of New South Wales, bar a few little bits and pieces taken by other regional managers. But it's really handy because I'm, as regional manager for New South Wales, I can access all of my team fairly closely. I really enjoy working in my region because it's got so much diversity to it. So I've got 4 territory sales managers and 3 farm service consultants covering a big range of different things across that area. So Sam Gall in the north. Sam's the elder statesman of the team and been around for a long time. And he's got a really strong team of farm service consultants working with him in that area, in Will Coldham, Greg Phillips and Rhino Kramer. So covering all that northern New South Wales, Liverpool Plains area. And then Glenn Somerville in central New South Wales. And then Chris Smith out in the MIA. And Luke Gooden in the in southeast New South Wales, the Riverina type area. So there's a high chance anyone in the cropping circles in New South Wales has come across someone in my team, because they're a pretty driven team who go after things fairly solidly and have a wide range of experience that really complements our team, but also our wider business.
If someone said to you, why do you work in agriculture, what would you say to them?
It's an interesting question. It's a good question. It's probably the opportunities, the people. What attracted me in initially was the opportunity to be working outside in open area and working with growers to help them grow their business, grow their outputs, create a stronger future. You know, I was given the advice years and years ago about, you know, everyone's got to eat, and so the world will always need agriculture, and it's great to be part of that story. I think someone else has said in their spiel too that, you know, we get to work with some of the best farmers in the country, but we also get to work with farmers aspiring to grow and to build their business, and we're a part of that story. So it's a really good industry to be in.
Thanks, Cam. What do you want to get out of this podcast?
Yeah, I see it as a great opportunity for us to really lift the lid on what Pioneer are doing, but also what the industry's doing. So we've got some incredible knowledge around our products, but also, you know, cropping in general and the technical space tied up within team members in our business. I can't wait to lift the lid and open the door to some of them to bring them in for a chat. But also some industry connections and to talk about some really hot topics in the industry and help listeners understand and learn more about what's going on in those spaces. So I think we've got a fairly broad array of guests ahead of us, and we can help growers sort of start a journey there and learning, but also just lift the lid on what's going on in the industry and have a bit of fun along the way. Us four as a group, we've got some fairly strong banter, and I think we can probably have a bit of fun doing it too.
Thanks, Cam, and thanks, Adam, for those great questions. So, Erinn, I'll throw to you, mate. Give us a bit of a background on where you've come from and your journey, and probably a little bit different to ours, I guess, potentially.
Yeah, thanks, Henk. I'm a son of a farmer who's the son of a farmer who's the son of a farmer. So there's a few generations of farming there. So I guess I've not known a lot of difference to agriculture and farming. I've been up early mustering sheep and driving tractors and helping out the farm since I was quite young. And I guess that's just progressed into a natural affinity with farming and agriculture. I guess as I've progressed, you know, I've worked on the peripheries of it, whether that be operating trucks and machinery or contracting. I've worked in the retail side of it, in supplies, and you know, now I'm obviously with Pioneer and have been for the last 7 years. It's just something that's always been a part of my life.
To be honest, that's probably pretty similar to all of us, really. Like, it's just something we've all enjoyed from an early age. So you've got a few kids, Erinn, and you're happily married over there, but in Geraldton, but you like to do a bit of fishing and camping. What else do you do?
Yeah, Hank, I am based out of Geraldton, which is about 4.5 hours north of Perth in Western Australia. It's a nice coastal town. It's got a lot of fishing in and around it, an industry, you know, and then obviously we've got farming and agriculture on our back doorstep, and then not much further out we've got mining and resources. So there's a fair bit going on out of Geraldton, mate. Renowned for being a pretty windy place. You'll see pictures of trees that lean over sideways there due to the wind, and the sheep love to hide under them. But yeah, it's a pretty nice little part of the world.
So what's the best part of your job, Erinn? What gets you out of bed on a Monday morning?
If I'm honest, it's seed and being a part of the seed industry in agriculture. We're growing something, and it's a positive thing. We're helping to deliver value, you know, through genetics, through some support and advice that we give, and it's being part of that journey and delivering a positive result and helping to grow something is what I love about what I do.
Yeah, great answer, Erinn. Like, it's there's a lot goes into seed, isn't there? People don't fully understand that sometimes. So yeah, that's a great answer. So what about people in your team? Who, you know, obviously it's a big state, Western Australia. There's a lot of area to cover. So who have you got there to help you?
I guess I need to start by outlining what the region is, you know, and I guess, you know, for me as the regional manager, we actually do sort of start to reach up into the Pilbara region where there's, you know, some summer crop opportunities and things like that. But our staple really is in broadacre cropping, Hank, and it basically starts from about Binu, which is, you know, probably a little over 100 k's north of Geraldton, and then it reaches all the way down to Albany and then out to Esperance, so what we'd call the Southwest Land Division in WA. I've got 3 territory sales managers currently in my region and 3 farm services consultants, and we are looking to fill a 4th territory sales manager role in the Esperance area. Based out of Yanchep and covering the Northern Ag region is Chris Zoma. So he would go from Binoo down to, just north of Perth and out to Muckenbuden. It's a pretty big patch. And then we've got Lisa Fury based out of York in the Avon Valley when she would go out to the Eastern Wheat Belt and down to the lakes. Then we've got Kim Mayfield based out of Albany, and he currently covers Esperance for us, and then sort of the Great Southern area and the southwest dairy and grazing markets. We've also got, in farm services consultants, we've got Tony Munns, Rob Bagley, and then we've got Owen Boxall in the Great Southern. So those guys are predominantly working with growers to help them understand products and deliver advice and just on-farm service.
No, great. Look, it's a relatively new team to the business, isn't it? But there's a real mix of experience in there as well, isn't there?
That's right. We've got many decades worth of experience and from diverse backgrounds and like Chris, for instance, is Zimbabwean, and he started his agricultural journey in another country, and he's come through fertiliser. That's just a great story, and it brings with it its own set of experience and knowledge. Kim Mayfield has come out of the retail side of things, and many long-standing relationships in the agricultural world in Western Australia, and Lisa, who's got an agronomy background and been part of the cooperative bulk handling organisation in the past, and other relevant parts. So we've got a pretty diverse background, but it all pulls together to make a really nice skill set, I think. And then the farm services consultants guys have come from consulting, owning their own contracting businesses and retail stores as well. I think we cover a lot of the angles that we need to provide a really holistic set of advice and outlooks on what guys are facing in our region.
What are you hoping to get out of this podcast, this experience?
Hank, for me, I think it's the opportunity to share with people in my region and other regions just some of the really interesting things that are happening in the space of hybrid seed. But not only that, just other interesting things that are happening and people and experts that you might not normally have access to, that you're not close to. Australia is such a big, diverse country, and agriculture in Australia is the same. And there's so many, amazingly intelligent, innovative people and businesses that you just don't know exist or have access to. And for me, like delivering it in a podcast form that's conversational, I know personally that medium washes over me, and I probably take away more learnings than I realise in this format, because I can put it on when I'm driving down the road, or you can be going for a run or a walk or working in the workshop. I just think it's a really effective way to help share some of these things. So that's the big driver for me here.
Oh, great answer, Erinn. So thanks for that. So join us on our journey through agriculture on Seed 360. We're going to have a bit of a mix of hosts over the next few episodes. So occasionally there'll be all of us together, sometimes just two of us. We're going to mix it up a bit. Hope to have a heap of different topics and a heap of different speakers. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for joining us on Seed 360. Like and follow us for more episodes like this one.